Hello everyone. This is Gluebook Fodder. It is painted paper. I think painted paper is my favorite thing to add to glue books. I like the color. I like the patterns. I can make it any color I want, that I need. It is one of the easiest ways to increase your Gluebook Fodder stash, and anybody can grab any kind of paint and paint paper and have things to glue into their glue books. So here's just some examples of some book text that was stamped, some under paper that's really cool, some stenciling, some splatters. This is vellum that has a little bit of paint sprayed on it, some white paper that was stripped. I think I took my paintbrush and just kind of splattered onto this paper, and I might add a little bit more to it, but it works just the way it is. Here is some of my handmade stamps stamped on some painted paper. A lot of times I'll just take a spray bottle and put some watercolor or some dye into it and just spray the papers and let them dry. They come up with some very interesting marks and stuff. So this one is lids. This one is the tape. The tape, the middle of the tape. I save those because it's a double circle. I like those. I save every single time I run out of tape. I save the little dispenser thing. And these are just lids of, I use different sizes. And you can use different colors. I'll just sit there for a while and paint circles on various kinds of paper, and then spray on top of that with other colors and stuff to make it really cool. And then I've got this piece of paper that's really cool, and I can rip it up into bits for my glue book. And I've got really interesting, unique, and different pieces of Gluebook Fodder. So I recommend painted papers for your glue books. You can get out the Geli Plate for a couple hours, paint some paper, different colors, use different patterns, use some stencils, whatever, and then you have a bunch of stuff that you can use in your glue books. I think it is my absolute favorite thing to do for Gluebook Fodder. And in fact, this whole glue book, this is the painted paper glue book. I just used some ephemera and painted paper. I like the colors. I like the patterns. I just really like to use painted paper. I use stamps to stamp patterns. I use stencils, and it doesn't matter if you're stenciling and it's not turning out right. It doesn't matter. You're just adding some color to the paper. You won't notice that it's messed up or whatever. You won't notice it all when it's a little piece. But it's a great way to add certain colors, like colors that you can't find in normal places. Teal is a hard one to find. Purple is a hard one to find. You can always find those color paints. Paint the papers, spray the color onto paper, and then you've got those colors so that you're using all the colors of the rainbow in your glue books. You can see all the different types of painted paper, and they look really cool together, and they look really cool when they're added with other things. So they work with everything. They're one of those really neutral type of thing, even though they've got lots of color to them. They go with everything. There's no wrong way to paint your papers. Try a bunch of different stuff. Look at those Geli Plate videos and all those different techniques that they use. Try out a bunch of stuff. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't look cool, at least you've got some paper to tear up into little bits that you can glue into your glue book. Look how different all of them are. Here's a stencil that did not work out at all. Not at all, but it looks really cool. There's nothing wrong with it in a glue book. I scribble with pens and pencils. Get your Stabilo all pencils out. Do some doodling and then spray it with water and watch those lines bleed and run. It makes it more unique, more interesting. And only you will have these painted papers. This was one of those Geli Plate prints that I wasn't real fond of. But it's fine. You know, it works. I could put more stuff on this page. I don't have to. But those prints that just did not work out, tear them up into little bits and use them for color in your backgrounds or even as focal points. Focal point doesn't have to be an object. It can be a splash of color that just draws your eye. There's no focal points on most of these pages. It's just color. But they look really cool. So when you're going forward making your glue books, you don't necessarily have to have focal points. Just saying, you can, but you don't have to. You can just put a bunch of pieces of glued paper together. It's all about having fun. It's all about just gluing paper down and having some glue therapy and not worrying about what it's going to look like in the end. The less you worry, the more interesting your glue books will be. So, painted paper, I think it's my all-time favorite. Go out and find your underpapers and your stash of little leftover bits from projects and see what you can put together using just painted paper. Thanks for watching.